Hello, tropical fish keepers. I hope you're having a great week thus far. Welcome to this week's species profile here on Aqua Alex Live. Legendary week continues as we get ready for our 8-year YouTube anniversary this coming Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Anyway, welcome to this week's species profile here on Aqua Alex Live. I'm your host, South American fish keeper and monster fish hobbyist, Aqua Alex Cardinale. Today, I am going to be talking about a real gentle giant. This is a monster catfish. It is capable of reaching monstrous sizes, and in the aquarium hobby, it is safe to say that this catfish can grow to be about 2.5 feet to 3 feet in length. The catfish that I am talking about today is one of my all-time favorite South American catfish, and not only that, one of my all-time favorite Doradid catfish. Now, Doradids are the family that contain the Raphael catfish, the Irwini catfish, etc. But this particular species is one of the largest growing Doradid catfish from South America. Like I said, it can grow 2.5 to 3 feet. It is known as the Ripsaw catfish, but that fish shares the moniker Ripsaw with many other South American catfish, such as the Irwini and the Hacer oriensis, for example. So we're going to be talking about the Niger catfish. The Niger cat, a pretty awesome catfish from South America. And while it grows large, it's a gentle giant that can be kept with smaller to medium-sized fish because it really doesn't have the mouth capacity to eat little fish. But having said that, I wouldn't trust it with neon tetras or rummy nose tetras or anything like that. So, in my opinion, the Niger cat is a legendary catfish because it could be kept in pretty much a large aquarium, 6 foot and more, or a large pond, and it can have a plethora of different types of tank mates. So today, I'm going to go over some interesting facts about the Niger cat, and I'm going to talk about keeping them in the home aquarium. I wanted to actually get some pictures and maybe a video of my current Niger cat that's in the tank behind me, but he's hiding in the big driftwood that I have, and he's way in there where the only way I could get pictures is if I took that driftwood out, and he would be really stressed out. So I did not want to do that just for a video. So whenever he comes out on his own, I'll have a video of him on my YouTube channel. So whenever he gets comfortable in my new 6 foot aquarium, and whenever he's out and about, I'll take a video and some pictures. But for the sake of actual seeing a Niger and a Ripsaw catfish, I have some pictures of past Niger cats that I'm going to show you in just a bit. So if you have any questions on the Niger cat, feel free to post it in the comments. I always look forward to answering your questions. So if you have any questions on the Niger cat, let me know in the comments. And if you have something you want to learn about the Niger cat, post them in the comments. And if you have something you want to say about the Niger cat and educate others about the Niger cat, let me know in the comments as well. Just thinking about when I moved to Niger in here, that would have been the perfect opportunity to get a video or some pictures. I wasn't thinking at the time. But like I said, I'll definitely be sure to get a picture and a video whenever he comes out of his driftwood. I can see his spines right there, but he's still wedged in there. It'll be really hard to get a photo or a video of him. So I want to thank everybody that is watching this video, whether you're watching it live or you're catching the replay of today's video. I appreciate your view, and thank you so much for tuning in. With that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by showing you some images of some Niger cats that I had in the past. So thinking back, I've been in the aquarium hobby for about 16 years. I would say I've had about 4 Niger cats. It does not seem like a lot because Nigers are not really accessible in the aquarium hobby. They're not as common as the striped Raphael or the Arini cats, and maybe for good reason. It's because they get so large, and a lot of stores don't want to import them. But there are specialty fish stores like predatory fins and aquatic rarities and tangled up in cichlids that import them, and that's where monster fish hobbyists like myself can pick them up. So that's where I would recommend getting one if you're looking at getting a Niger cat. So anyway, my first Niger cat was a rescue that I got from somebody that thought it was just a black Raphael with no coloration. He said it was 9 inches, and I could not believe it. I said, that's not a Raphael cat. So anyways, he dropped it off, and lo and behold, I saw it, and I said, holy shit, you're giving me a Niger cat for free? I was stoked, and at the time, I had a 75-gallon aquarium, and I put him in there, and I grew him out to about 12. Then I put him in my dad's 180-gallon aquarium, and I've got a story about that I'm going to share when we get to our Did You Know facts on this fish. And then I rehomed him, and then I grew out another one from 2 to 12 inches. I grew out another Niger cat from 2.5 to 12 inches, and then eventually I got one more, and now I have the current Niger cat, which I'll hope to get a picture of later on. So here is the Niger cat that I rescued. So as you can see, a very cool looking Doradid catfish. They have the same body shape as a Raphael catfish, but you can see that they're a bit more girthy. They have those sharp spines that could do a lot of damage to a predator or a human. And they've got a pure black body, which is really cool. Very, very awesome catfish if you were to ask my opinion on the Niger. And this next picture is a little bit small, and the water is a little bit hazy. This picture is from a couple of years ago. And this is a Niger cat that I got at 2 inches, and I grew him to 14 before I moved here to Florida. So it took me about a year and a half to grow this Niger cat from 2 inches all the way to 14. These guys grow quick. They're much faster growing than your ordinary Raphael catfish. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting a Niger cat. They're going to grow quicker than any Raphael catfish out there. All right, let's get right into our topic now that you've seen some of the Niger cats that I've kept over the last couple of years. We're going to get into the did you know facts about the Niger cat. Did you know the Niger catfish has spiny thorns alongside its body to defend itself against predators? These thorns are so sharp it could do serious damage to a would-be predator. And that includes other large fish that might try to eat it. That includes birds that might try to eat it in the wild. And that definitely includes humans. A Niger cat could severely cut open a human hand with those thorns. And I would not want to be that person that got cut open by a Niger cat. Not only is it a sharp, thorny fin, but think of the bacteria that that catfish has. Ooh, that would be horrible. I can imagine the pain that the Niger catfish could cause. But that's what I like about the Niger cat because they're such a large growing catfish and they have those spiny thorns on their body. You know, they kind of command respect. Kind of like me, I kind of command respect everywhere I go. Just kidding. All right, so the next fact I have for you on the Niger cat. Did you know, and this goes back to what I just said a moment ago, I had a Niger catfish that severely damaged a black piranha my dad once had. So I told the story a couple of weeks ago on my story time with Aqua Alex on the second episode of Aquarium Stories. And my dad had rehomed most of the fish in the 180 we were sharing because he was getting a black piranha. And I thought I had removed everything, but I forgot about the 12 to 14 inch Niger that was hanging out in the 24 to 36 inch driftwood. So the Niger was hanging out in there when he added the black rom piranha, and the first night was fine because the Niger cat never came out. But the piranha decided to be sneaky and vicious and went to bite the Niger, but the piranha caught the Niger's thorns and his teeth got stuck on the Niger, and the Niger's thorns were so strong it severely damaged the black piranha's mouth. That piranha was disfigured and, for lack of a better word, retarded. It could not chew properly. It just looked awful. So after I saw that, I removed the Niger cat and put him in my aquarium and kept him for a few more months. And then I gave him to somebody with a larger aquarium. Um, Looking back at it, it's kind of funny. Piranhas think that they're these big, ferocious killers. But if a catfish can severely disfigure a piranha, are piranhas really that ferocious? Not to a Niger cat, at least. Or maybe Irwin or Raphael as well. The only way a piranha or a predator could possibly kill a Niger cat would be to get it under its belly. And that is extremely difficult considering Niger cats are bottom dwellers and they stay at the bottom. So that was kind of funny. I figured that would be a great addition to today's video. Did you know the Niger cat belongs to the Doridid family and it grows 4 times larger than a Raphael catfish? So the Raphael cats are the striped Raphaels and the spotted Raphaels, and they will max out around 6 to 7 inches. But the Niger cat will max out at around 2.5, 3 feet. And it's also a bit more active than a Raphael as well. It's about 11:15 p.m. here. That's when I usually see my Niger cat out and about. That's why I'm doing today's video at 11, but he's still hidden in the driftwood. But when I throw in some food after today's video, I'm sure he'll be out and about eating. But they're one of the most active Doridid catfish out there. The only Doradids that are more active Then the Niger would be the Hacer oriensis and the other mouse catfish that are out there. And here's a fact that I did not know until I did some research today, and I spoke to somebody that is really familiar with doradids and South American catfish. The reason the Niger cat has the name Mother of Snails catfish is because this catfish can actually eat snails. So if you think about it, some of the only fish in freshwater that are able to eat snails would be the MBU puffer and other freshwater puffers and clown loaches. But there are catfish that can, and it would be the Oxydoras Niger. An awesome catfish for sure. All right. So those are the interesting did you know facts on the Oxydoras Niger. Now let's get to our topic for today's show, and we're going to learn about keeping and caring for this magnificent, gentle giant of a catfish. So here is the Oxydoras Niger care guide. And before I get into this, I just want to make a correction. Last week on my wide bar silver dollar care guide, I mentioned that the wide bar silver dollar was Mylius skirmberki, but I was corrected by a fellow fish keeper who informed me that the wide bar skirmberki is now known as Myla plus skirmberki. So just want to make sure that I got that out there. But the Oxydoras Niger was once known as Pesidoras Niger, but now it is called Oxydoras Niger. So just in case there's any fish police out there that want to correct me, it was known as Pesidoras Niger, but now it is Oxydoras Niger. So scientific name, as I just gave out, Oxydoras Niger for this amazing catfish. Common names, Ripsaw catfish, because of those awesome thorns. Mother of Snails catfish, because they snack on snails. Black doradid catfish, and Niger catfish. Their natural habitat, natural range. South America. They are literally found all over South America, just like the Raphael, the giant Raphael irwini, and some of the other doradids. You can find the Niger cats in Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, and Brazil, and they inhabit lakes, rivers, and streams with muddy or sandy substrates. So they'll appreciate a sand substrate or bare bottom. Ideally, you probably don't want to keep them in a gravel aquarium because they may hurt their stomachs, just like a Corydoras cat or any other Doradid cat could possibly injure themselves with gravel. Unless it was really fine gravel, I would stick with a bare bottom or a sandy substrate for the Niger cat. All right, here's where it gets kind of controversial. A lot of people are going to say that this cat will grow many different sizes. Some fish keepers will tell you that the Niger cat can grow 3.5 feet to 4 feet. But I'm going to tell you that the Niger cat can grow up to 3 feet, although it would be very unlikely in the aquarium hobby. And it would be unlikely for a Niger cat to reach 3 feet in the aquarium hobby simply because not every fish keeper is going to be able to house a catfish this big. And if you're not Ohio Fish Rescue, or if you don't have 1,000-gallon pond or whatever, I highly doubt Niger catfish in captivity will get past 3 feet. However, it has happened. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's not plausible is what I'm saying. So generally, I would expect a Niger cat to max out around 2.5 feet, close to 3 feet, but definitely not over 3 feet. is what I'm saying. So keep that in mind. This is a large growing catfish, but unlike the red tail and the tiger shovelnose, it won't grow to 4 or 5 feet. Although it is a gentle cat, it is a very active catfish, especially at night and dawn. So you're going to want a lot of swimming space. And that's going to bring me to the recommended tank size for the Niger catfish. So, again, this is a controversial topic. Whenever we're talking about large growing fish, some fish keepers are going to feel that they belong in the wild and they don't belong in captivity. And I can respect that and I can understand that. But me being a monster fish hobbyist, no matter what size aquarium or pond you have, it's never going to be as big as the wild. So, really, it's all about enjoying raising fish. However, I would try to offer the Niger cat as big of an aquarium as you can afford and as big of an aquarium that you can. So I'm going to go on a limb and say that a Niger cat could do well in a larger 6 foot aquarium. And I'm talking about 6 foot aquariums that are on the larger scale, like 180 gallons, 220 gallons, 300 gallons, 500 gallons, and even outdoor ponds. If you have the fortunes of living in southern Florida or Texas or California or anywhere where it's sunny year round and there's beautiful weather year round, you could definitely put these Niger cats out in your backyard ponds with your koi and other large fish. They would love that. They would actually thrive in an outdoor pond that is nice and massive. But if you're in New England or any colder states and you've got a gigantic basement, which is something that I miss, you can have a large pond and enjoy a Niger cat as well. I know one of the trends for monster fish keepers seems to be wanting pool ponds, and that is pretty cool, I have to admit. However, with the Niger cat, just be aware that they have those sharp thorns on their body and they can puncture a pool pond. So to avoid that, I would recommend putting some driftwood and cave structures in the middle of the pool pond. That way, the Niger cat will likely stay in the caves and driftwood, and he probably would not venture out too often, only at night and only at feeding time. And really, there shouldn't be anything to spook him at night unless it's outside and there's birds and stuff. And if you're going to have a pond outside, you're going to want netting anyway. But like I said, you can minimize the damage a Niger can do by having like caves and driftwood in the center of the pond, in the middle of the pond, and don't put anything towards the um, ends or where the liners are, so that your Niger cat doesn't rip a hole in the pond. But people have successfully kept Niger cats in pool ponds. I have seen it. As a matter of fact, I have a friend that has not only a Niger cat, but he's got a granulosis and a couple Irwineyes in a pool pond. And the tip that I just gave you about having the driftwood and caves and what else the catfish used to hide in the center of the pond actually came from her. So thank you very much, Linda, for that. Linda is somebody I have known for many years, and she is a passionate catfish lover. She has a lot of catfish. She loves like the South American monsters. She likes the Doradids and the Nigers and the red tails, etc. So a lot of the stuff that I'm giving you out tonight is some of the stuff she sent me on Facebook today to go over. So those are like my show notes. So I may forget a few things, but I'm going to try my best to make sure that I include all that information that you gave me, Linda. So a backstory of how Linda and I met. It was actually on a fish farm. I forget which one it was, but I was actually looking to buy a Niger cat, and she messaged me telling me I don't think you should get a Niger cat because it grows much larger than a Raphael cat. And me being a stubborn teenager, I wanted one, and there was nobody that wasn't going to tell me I wasn't going to be able to have one. And then we went back and forth bickering, but eventually we became friends, and we respect each other's fish keeping abilities. And now um, I talk to her every now and then on Facebook. So it's amazing what social media can do for fish keepers. I mean, you can go from not agreeing with each other to becoming friends after a simple conversation. But, anyways, I just wanted to give Linda props for that tip that I just gave you guys. All right, so let's talk about aquarium care for the Niger catfish. Like all South American cats, these guys are really hardy. You're probably going to have a hard time killing them, which is a good thing. Having said that, they are from South America and they do prefer softer water parameters. So the pH I would recommend anywhere from 6.8 to 7.4. I mean, you could probably acclimate them to a higher pH, just do it slowly, and I'd recommend acclimating them to a higher pH over a period of several hours so they get used to a higher pH. But because the Niger comes from South America, they're naturally used to softer water. So keep that in mind. So pH 6.8 to 7.4. Temperature range can be anywhere from 68 to 74 degrees Fahrenheit, and pretty much the same water parameters for other fish from South America. Definitely, you're going to need some rock work and driftwood for this fish to hang out in, especially as juveniles and sub-adults. They're going to want some place to hide. And if there's no hiding spots available, the Niger cat is going to stress out and possibly perish because it will not eat because it does not feel comfortable. So, in order to keep this fish successfully, please provide it hiding spaces. And you can do this with rock work, you can do this with caves or driftwood. It is really simple to give the Niger cat hiding spaces. Just do it so that this fish is very, very happy. Now, they can actually be kept with other Nigers. You can, of course, have more than one Niger Ripsaw catfish. However, be aware of their full grown size and realize you're going to need a massive pond if you're going to want to keep more than one Niger cat. Having said that, they can also live with Raphael cats and Irwinized and other Doradids just fine as well. Just because they grow 3 or 4 times the size of a Raphael does not mean that they can't live with them. They're not going to kill them. They're very peaceful. They're gentle giants after all. All right, now that brings us to feeding and diet. Now, if you just bought a Niger cat and it has not eaten the first week or so, do not panic. Niger cats take a while to get used to their new environment. I've learned that from my experience of raising 4 different Niger cats. It took me over a week to get them to eat. And once they began eating, they never stopped. And they eat just about anything. I feed my Niger cats a varied diet. My Niger cat gets chopped up tilapia, chopped up raw market shrimp. He gets Hikari sinking cichlid pellets. He gets sinking krill pellets. He'll even eat algae wafers, which is a very shocker to me because it's not a carnivorous catfish to say the least. He also eats chopped up earthworms, but they have to be really small So he only gets them on occasion. They're not a treat that he gets often because I don't like sitting there chopping up earthworms, but I give it to him as a treat. And he also eats flakes, bloodworms, mysis shrimp. What else do I give him? Pretty much anything. The Niger cat is a really hardy and easy fish to keep. For diet, I would easily recommend a varied diet. So anything from frozen bloodworms, frozen krill, frozen brine shrimp, frozen mysis shrimp, any frozen food's a good diet for a Niger cat, especially juveniles. Get them loaded up with those vitamins, and then work your way to pellet foods. There's a lot of catfish pellets on the market that are great, like the omega-1 shrimp catfish pellets. New Life Spectrum has a great catfish pellet. Hikari's got some great cichlid pellets that are sinking that are great for Niger cats. Flake foods are great for them. And here's something that I learned today that I did not know. Niger cats will also eat snails. So go to your local fish store, buy some of those nuisance snails, put them in your tank with your Niger cat, and eventually your Niger cat will have a buffet. It will eat those snails like as if it was a French person, because French people love snails, so the Niger cat will as well. So I'm gonna head to my fish store tomorrow and go to their invert tank and buy a couple of those 99-cent mystery snails and put them in my tank and let my Niger cat go to town. There's also vulture cats in there. There's some synodontis cats that I think will enjoy eating on the snails as well. But I'm interested to putting that theory to the test, and maybe I'll do a YouTube video to find out if the Niger cat actually does eat snails, because that intrigues me. Why else would it have the Mother of Snails moniker? That's a very, very good question. So we'll have to see if it does eat snails. And the final topic in terms of care for the Niger cat is tank mates. As you can see, I have a whole plethora of tank mates in my 6-foot aquarium with my Niger cat. I'm sure you saw my common plecostomus in there. I'm sure you see my severums, my green and my red spotted gold. There's a couple of wolffish in here, the gold wolf, the black wolf, and I just added a red wolffish in there that my dad gave me. There's some peacock bass in there. There's Mylius rubberapinus, Myloploscum burkii, flagtail prochilotus. So basically, in a nutshell, there are plenty of tank mates that can be kept with the Niger cat. It could be anything from other large growing fish to even smaller to medium-sized fish like black skirt tetras, Congo tetras, silver dollars, festivums, geophagus, angelfish, um, other South American cichlids like severum, even angelfish would do great with Niger cats. Niger cats, they have a small mouth, so they're not going to be able to devour any live fish. However, they may be able to attack a neon tetra. So I would not recommend putting them in a tank with neon tetras or guppies. But anything other than that, and they're going to do fine. Sorry about that. My mouth was getting dry. So tank mates is really easy with the Niger cat. All right, now it's time for my favorite part of the species care guide, and that's where I get to stop talking and show you some pictures and videos of Niger cats that I found on Facebook and from other fish keepers and even pet stores and fish stores themselves. So here are some photos and videos of the Niger cat. After I show you these pictures and videos, we'll give you my final remarks on the Niger cat, and we'll end this week's edition of Species Profile here on Aqua Alex Live. All right, so let's get to the images first, and then we'll get to the video. So here is a massive Niger cat. This one looks to be about 20 inches, I would guess. And again, you can see those thorns alongside the body. Very, very cool. Here is another Niger cat. As you can tell, they are a schooling fish, but in order for them to be in a school, they need a large aquarium. So do keep that in mind. They are a large growing catfish, as I have pointed out numerous times on today's video. Here are some juvenile Niger cats that were for sale at a pet store. Very, very cute little guys, but they turn into big, fun little guys. Big, fun, gentle giants. This is a Niger cat that was for sale at Aquatic Rarities a number of months ago. My friend Bob at Aquatic Rarities does bring in Niger cats every now and then. They are a frequent import from South America. So if you are looking for a Niger cat, I would constantly keep an eye on Aquatic Rarities stock list, as well as Tangled Up in Cichlids and other places that import fish from South America. And this last picture is from Sam Scales, a good friend of mine, when he was at Ohio Fish Rescue. And this is one of their massive Niger cats. Like I said earlier, I would probably be right in guessing that Josh and Big Rich at Ohio Fish Rescue are probably one of the only people in the aquarium hobby to have Niger cats that are past 3 feet. While it is possible, nobody besides Josh and Big Rich and maybe a couple others have aquariums that where Nigers can exceed 3 feet. Very, very gorgeous Niger cat, one of my favorite catfish of all time. Now, someone is asking me in the comments, how come the Niger cat doesn't have normal catfish whiskers? Well, Dorotid cats don't have normal catfish whiskers. Their whiskers are a little bit shorter. So if you look at a Raphael or Irwin Eye cat, their whiskers are short. So the Niger cat's whiskers are very short. But you can see here, their whisker is basically one big line with like 3 or 4 lines following that big line. It's a little bit hard to explain, but you're going to see a couple of videos of Niger cats, and you're going to see that their whiskers are a lot different compared to other catfish. So let's get into the Niger cat videos, and then we'll wrap up today's video with my closing remarks on the Niger cat. The first video I have is actually a video that I found on a Peruvian website. It's actually someone that fished a Niger cat, and this Niger cat is actually drinking beer. It's a pretty unique video. Let's check it out.
Ella es el único que lo va a hacer el brasileño. Mira cómo chupa. Vamos, Titi, viejo, nomás.
Una cerveza voy a tomar, una cerveza voy a tomar. Ya se olvidarme.
Más arriba, dale, dale. Mira cómo chupa, da.
Vamos, qué grande. Che, le vamos a hacer mal al bicho, boludo.
Che, Ricardito, Ricardo 2 boludo. Mira cómo chupa. Qué pedo se va a agarrar este muchacho.
That was kind of funny. I thought I saw it all, but then I saw a Niger cat drinking beer. Even a Niger cat needs a beer after a long day. All right, the last video comes from Aquatic Rarities. This is when they had a whole group of Niger cats for sale.
Look at these gorgeous Niger cats. A few of them are a little beat up, but they're getting better. And they're eating on some tilapia and pellets that we fed them. Trying to keep the glare down. So cool. Don't miss out on these guys. These are one of our favorites.
Very cool juvenile Niger cats. As I forgot to mention on today's video, juvenile Niger cats look a little bit different than adult Niger cats. Juvenile Nigers will have black spots along their body, but as they mature, those black spots will disappear slowly. All right, time for my final remarks on the Niger catfish. If you have an appropriate sized aquarium, anything in the 6 foot range or larger, or a pond, a Niger cat would be a perfect addition to your aquarium. They're a gentle giant, very peaceful, yet they love to eat, and they're a very personable catfish. As they get used to their environment, they will be one of the most active Doradid catfish that you will ever keep. More active than the common bread and butter Raphael catfish, but they do get big, so keep that in mind. They do come in the aquarium hobby frequently. In my experience, I tend to find them in the winter, the spring, and the summer. So I would say from uh, January all the way through August, you should be able to get your hands on a Niger cat. Your best bet would be to go to an online vendor like tangledupincichlids.com, exoticfishshop.net, aquatic rarities, or predatory fins. I've gone to fish stores in my area and I said, do you guys ever carry Niger cat or Ripsaw cats? And they look at me like they don't know what I'm talking about. One person did, but he told me, unfortunately, I don't sell those because they get so big. And I was like, okay, and I left. There are a lot of fish stores like that nowadays that are afraid to bring in fish that get to a certain size, and I respect that. But as a monster fish keeper, I will find other ways to obtain a fish that I really, really want to keep. Having said that, I'm certainly not going to go out of my way to get a red tail, catfish, or a pacu. I know my limits. There's a certain size that I won't get. I will never get another red tail because I will get what's the word I'm looking for? I'll fall in love with it and not want to rehome it, but deep down I know I'll probably never be able to have a pond, so that's why I don't want to get a red tail, because then I get attached to it and it'll be hard to rehome. Last year I grew a red tail, a marble acara, and a tiger shovelnose, and I ended up giving the red tail to a good home. It went to my friend Jacob, and he's going to talk about that coming up pretty soon. Red Tail's doing great with him, but the tiger shovelnose and the marble acara, a whole nother story. I gave it to an older gentleman thinking that he was going to go to a good home, but that bastard turned around and brought them to the fish store for God knows what reason. Maybe it was to earn some more profit. Maybe he was thinking like a businessman. So that guy pissed me off, and that really made me reconsider rehoming monster fish. And I'd have to deliver the monster fish to the person that's getting them. But that's off topic now. Let's get back on topic. So if you're looking for a Niger cat, there's places to find them. Just be aware that these guys do get pretty big. And their price range, they're pretty pricey for a Doradid. A Niger cat juvenile will be about $40. Anything larger than 5 inches would probably be about 60 to 100, depending on your location. And my last remark on the Niger cat, if you're looking for a cool catfish that is all black, get the Niger cat. There is nothing wrong with the Niger cat if you have a massive aquarium. All right, guys and gals and cool cats, I had a blast talking about the Niger catfish with all of you. I hope you learned a little something about the Niger catfish, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Next Thursday, I'm going to do another species profile, and it's on a fish that I really love, a fish that I have had in my heart for many years. And at one point, I was named Aqua Alex because I was so passionate about this fish. As you guys guessed, next Thursday's species profile is on the Oscar cichlid, and that will air March 10th, 2022, next Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. So join me next Thursday to learn about the Oscar cichlid. And hopefully by next week, I'll have an Oscar cichlid to show off. I haven't had an Oscar in a couple of months. The last couple Oscars I got were deformed, so I gave them away. But I want a regular albino tiger or a regular tiger or even a bumblebee Oscar. That would be great. So hopefully next Thursday I can make that happen. Don't forget the Fish Keepers Q&A is March 26th, but I'll have a promo to explain all about that. And don't miss my 8-year YouTube anniversary this coming Sunday. See me set up the 125 and some interesting aquarium topics by Aqua Alex on my 8-year YouTube anniversary, as well as fish keeping guests. That's going to be awesome. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale, for more amazing fish keeping videos. I can't wait to chat tropical fish with you in the future. With that being said, tropical fish keepers, have a great Thursday night. Have a great Friday tomorrow. I'll be back with another episode of Aqua Alex Live, where I'll talk about my dream Plecostomus. And of course, this weekend, I've got my 8-year YouTube anniversary pre-show on Saturday and my 8-year YouTube anniversary on Sunday. Have a great night, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Stay fishy, my friends. Enjoy the fish keeping hobby, and get yourself a Niger cat. Bada boom, bada bang. Have a great night, and thank you for tuning in. Legendary Alex Cardinale here to tell you that the biggest party of the year is going to have a pre-show. Alex Cardinale's legendary 8-year YouTube anniversary weekend kicks off this Saturday, March 5th, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, with the 8-year YouTube anniversary pre-show. Just one night before the big event, find out everything you need to know about the biggest party of the year. Plus, 2 of my legendary subscribers will be immortalized forever. To kick off the pre-show, the 8 subscribers who will be entered into the 8-year YouTube anniversary giveaway will be announced on the 8-year YouTube anniversary pre-show. Any last-minute news for the biggest show, live stream, and party of the year will be announced on the pre-show. One of the topics for the 8-year YouTube anniversary pre-show will be 8 reasons to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. There will be 8 clips from previous YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. These clips can be funny, informal, or just some of my favorite videos as we celebrate 8 strong years as a YouTuber. And it's going to be an awesome time to look back at some of my biggest clips on my YouTube channel. I'm also going to air some never before seen clips that never made it to my YouTube channel on my 8-year YouTube anniversary pre-show. And the main event for the inaugural YouTube anniversary pre-show, I present to everybody the legendary Alex Cardinale Subscriber Hall of Fame. Every year, 2 of my legendary subscribers will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. These subscribers will be recognized for their loyalty and their patronage to my YouTube channel. This year's inductees. Inductee number 1, my dear friend Matt Thibodeau from Springfield, Massachusetts, will be our very first inductee. He is the reason why I am still on YouTube today. And inductee number 2 is one of the people that I first met when I started my YouTube channel. He is known as William T. Hannaford, aka Hannah Pro Discus. So Matt and William will be the very first 2 inductees inducted into the legendary Alex Cardinale Subscriber Hall of Fame. And that takes place live this Saturday, March 5th, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, only on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. One night before our big party, join the pre-show and have some fun. Legendary Alex Cardinale, here to tell you that history is awaiting, and history will be conquered this Sunday. Live this Sunday, March 6, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. I would proudly celebrate my 8th year as a YouTuber with the inaugural YouTube anniversary celebration. It's going to be a night of non-stop action and a night you are going to love. You are listening to the official theme song for this year's anniversary, and the official theme song is The Legendary by Pop Evil. So make sure you're legendary for the 8-year YouTube anniversary this Sunday. Kicking off this year's show, I'll announce the winners of the legendary subscriber giveaway, which 2 of my 16,000 subscribers will walk away with a $80 gift card to Texas Roadhouse. I am very proud to announce that for the first time in my YouTube history, I am going to have a legend in the house. There's going to be an appearance by WWE Hall of Famer and hardcore legend Mick Foley. Which face of Foley will appear? Will it be all 3 faces of Foley? You gotta tune in to find out. Bang bang, bang bang. The first confirmed special guest is gonna be a fish keeping friend of mine. He is from Western Massachusetts, and he has an aquarium maintenance company called Blue View Aquatics, and he's also known as the Diver Man, Josh Rodriguez. Find out what the Diver Man is all about, how he's helping the ocean by removing plastic. Josh is going to be the first guest interview to start the 8-year YouTube anniversary. My next guest is also a friend of mine, and he's also a tropical fish keeper. He's right here in southern Florida, in Miami, to be exact. Special guest tropical fish keeper Jacob Ratner will be on the show. Jacob is growing out my red-tailed cat that he got from me last summer, and he's also got a couple of other fish from me. He's going to tell us how those fish are doing and a whole lot more this Sunday on my 8-year YouTube anniversary. Will there be surprise special guest? You got to tune in to find out. There will be appearances from Aqua Alex Cardinale, who will discuss the tropical fish species he's kept over the last 8 years. And as a surprise, he will show off getting his new 125-gallon aquarium. There will also be an appearance by Chef Alex Cardinale, who is going to make a Twix cheesecake and a Reese's cake. There will be an appearance by WWE fanboy Alex Cardinale, who will share his dream WrestleMania 38 card. And finally, there will be an appearance by Detective Alex Cardinale, who will discuss what he would do if crime was legal, and he'll also discuss a crime that shocked America. It all goes down live this Sunday, March 6, 2022, on the 8-year YouTube anniversary. There's also going to be plenty of surprises. What are the surprises going to be? One of the surprises is going to be an appearance by Brandy Cardinale, who hasn't been on my YouTube channel in many years, but she'll make her appearance on the 8-year YouTube anniversary. If you don't know who Brandy is, tune into the 8-year YouTube anniversary. The 8-year YouTube anniversary goes down live this Sunday, March 6, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on my YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinale. Be legendary and tune in to the 8-year YouTube anniversary this Sunday, March 6th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Hey fish keepers, Aqua Alex Cardinale here, inviting you to the best fish keeping video of March 2022. I'm inviting you to be a part of my 8 Fish Keepers Q&A. Come be a part of March 2022's Ask Aqua Alex Live, where you can ask me any fish keeping questions you have, whether they are freshwater or saltwater. I will answer all of your questions. As a matter of fact, I find it personally rewarding and satisfying to be able to answer your tropical fish keeping questions. I like a good challenge, so ask me any fish keeping questions you can think of, and I will answer them on the March 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A. Email your tropical fish keeping questions to AlexGoYankeesCardinale19@gmail.com. I will answer all aquarium related questions, whether they are freshwater or saltwater, so get them sent in right now. The Fish Keepers Q&A is going to air live Saturday, March 26, 2022 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. So please try and get your questions in by March 25th. Also, last month we debuted a segment where I react to other fish keepers' tropical fish photos and videos of your aquarium. We are going to continue that amazing trend. So, send photos and videos of your aquarium cardinale19@gmail.com. I'd love to show off your fish and your aquarium. Trust me, I know you're thinking towards it, and my viewers would love to see your fish and your aquarium. So send those videos and photos to Alex Cardinale19@gmail.com and try to get those in by March 25th. And last but not least, the topics I'm going to cover on the March 2022 edition of Ask Aqua Alex Live include fish species I don't see myself keeping, and for the first time ever, I will talk about aquatic reptiles and aquatic amphibians I want to keep. Believe it or not, I can see myself keeping African clawed frogs and axolotls as examples. This is going to be a fun fish keeping episode. Mark your calendars. It all goes down live Saturday, March 26, 2022, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. You can email your questions, alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com, and also submit photos and videos of your aquarium to alexgoyankiescardinale19@gmail.com as well. I'll see you on Ask Aqua Alex Live, March 2022, on Saturday, March 26th.